Thank you so much for hanging out with us. It's Friday night. We are not live, but it is a new show. It's your old pal Stram and Cashman. That means you are listening to Derby Rocks. Hey, hey, hey. What's going on, Cash? How are you, bud?
Oh man, it's weird week just because it's like I've been off and it's like I don't know what day it is and it's like it's just me and my dog and it's like
Sure.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like it's
Good.
just I feel kind of rejuvenated. So I'm kind of I mean last week I was kind of goofy on the show. You go back and listen to it, man. There was some just goofy stuff coming out of my mouth. This week I
We
feel
were having fun, though, I thought.
no, I know. I think it was funny too. I was like, I'm the worst person in the world because I'll laugh at my own jokes.
Sure.
I definitely could not be up on stage telling them, that's for sure. But no, it's been a great week. I'm excited. It's starting to. It was weird because today the day got warmer as it went on, so it was really a nice day. Ended up being about 50 by the time the sun went
Yeah, it
down.
was a nice day. It was pretty warm. You
Yeah,
were not wrong.
yeah. So, yeah,
Definitely a good day. But hey, happy Friday. We're happy to be here.
yeah. It got a lot of stuff going on too this weekend, man. Easter.
Yeah. Yeah,
Easter's,
it's also WrestleMania weekend for all those who celebrate.
yeah.
So I'm honestly a bit more excited for that than I am Easter or anything else. But to each their own. Not everybody is a wrestling fan
No, that's true.
or a religious fan for that matter. So
There's a lot.
I'm gonna.
There's a lot of sneaky wrestling fans. They don't admit it until they find out you like wrestling too, and then boom, it's like I think there's a security guard I work with. Man, we've talked to each other for like the last couple of years, and he says he's going to WrestleMania. And it's like I had no idea or interested in that. Oh man, it was like, but you just you don't always suspect everybody. So there's a lot of, especially sports people. If you've been watching the last few weeks on TV, always got these sports people in the crowd.
Sure, yeah. I mean, lots of celebrities and things like that. A lot of people in the crowds that you normally wouldn't see, especially at some of these bigger events. It's pretty darn cool if you're asking me.
Yeah. You can tell whenever you watch like a professional football game when people start doing people's finishing moves as dances
Yeah,
in the end zone.
right.
Yeah,
Right.
so
They're doing like RKO's in the end zone and stuff like that.
it's a very exciting day in Vegas because everyone's flying in today. So I have like a lot of friends who are going, and I got pictures of all the stars are hitting every gym in Vegas right now, and
Sure.
like it's crazy. It's
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it's there's just a lot going on in general this weekend as a whole. Like you had mentioned, Easter. We've got other stuff going on there. There is no shortage of things to get into.
yeah.
No shortage of stuff coming up as well. So we've got lots of things to talk about.
I was gonna say I have because we're taping, I the news I have is just like a Word document open on my computer, but I've got at least like 4 or 5 pages of stuff going on. So, there's I mean, it seems like there's so many games this weekend. People are having like, all Easter themed games on Saturday,
Sure, yeah,
like,
yeah.
bunny hopping a thon or, all sorts of just kind of odd names like that. But it's yeah, so
Sure. Funny.
speed is picking up, it definitely is. I
Yeah,
mean, Rock
100.
Rock City's got a game Saturday in Buffalo.
Yeah, I mean, we just had Bob H over the last weekend, a
Yeah.
variety of juniors games, WFTDA as well as MRDA, of course. So, there is we are in the middle of it. We've got tournaments coming up. We've got World Cup this year. So much stuff coming up. It's a lot to be excited about.
Yeah, definitely. And and it just seems like there's more and more, which is pretty cool. Cause I remember when there was none and none. So,
Yeah,
you know,
right. And we talked about it for like 3 years, just nothing.
yeah, yeah. So it's exciting. Remember I was telling you last week when we did doing the show that I think I might have mentioned it at least that we like the first, I don't know, the first like 10, 11 weeks, we didn't really have guests. We just did other things like talked about, rules and, tried to indoctrinate the listener, so it was like it gets, I can talk a lot. I definitely can talk a lot.
You're used to that for
Yeah,
sure.
I know, but it's not, but what guests always like, I mean, once we started getting guests, it was like, oh, this is pretty cool because
This is
everyone's a
much
bit,
better. I don't have to talk quite as much.
yeah, and they're very available. It's like I had done this wrestling pay-per-view for what many years, and I've always had to fight with PR people to talk to any of the stars. You know,
Sure,
they got to be on the phone when you're doing it. If you say something, you hear them go in the background. They think you tell you we got to, they like give you all these symbols like we got to go after like 5 minutes when they told you it's going to be like a 15-minute thing,
sure.
all the stuff like that. And I like, man, and I remember first time reaching out to a star in WFTDA after the champs, and they were more than happy to come on. It was like,
Yeah,
wow.
I mean it's a different thing though. I think obviously these when and I think maybe wrestlers should be a bit more available to radio shows, especially given the fact that um, for a long time while you guys were doing this, you were really the only kind of thing doing this. Now there's a podcast. Now everybody has their own,
Oh,
you know,
every wrestler doesn't need to go on shows because they have their own podcasts,
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the thing. And if they are going on podcasts, they're going on Undertaker's podcast, they're going on Bubba Ray Dudley and this, that, and the other thing where, um, you know, Derby folks at least like there's almost nothing else going on. So if a WWE superstar is doing radio or something like that, they're going to do 30 radio shows or podcasts or something like that. Or I don't even really know how they used to promote, but you know what I mean?
I
Like
know
a
that's how WWE does it. They schedule, they call them, I can't remember.
like a press junket
Yeah,
almost,
like yeah, or the but they'll like they'll used to send out these grids, and this is back, and I'm giving away a little bit how it used to work. They'd send you
Nice.
a grid, and they would tell you what time you're on, and what stations before you, and what stations after you, and how much time you've got. And it's like, and every time I ever did one of those, we'd be at a certain time, it get later and later because you can't keep it to 15 minutes with some of these guys. It's like they
Sure, yeah.
you ask them one cool, they like you, and they start clicking on the air, and then next thing you know, that's going long. And so, but I remember like Thursday afternoon. I remember, I don't know. We used to get a WrestleMania interview every year, and it's like it would be in the afternoon, so I'd have to like take time away from my job to go to a studio in the afternoon to be able to tape it. But I mean, they were available, but it's just not. If you ever need it, if you ever wanted them, just when there's not coming to town or it's not a big show, they never give you anybody. They're like just
Right.
drag their feet, but they're also millions of dollars, and they don't want to say something stupid.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, publicly traded or
Yeah.
whatever. But roller derby is a different story, and we get all the stars and all the cool people on our show, and this week is going to be no different. In a few minutes here, we're going to get Bruiser Lee on the phone from Austin Anarchy. I'm excited to talk to them. They are a awesome jammer, great athlete, a ton of fun, and I'm excited to get to play against them. In the past, as I've mentioned, at Dawn of the Derby, even I've coached these guys for a couple of years, so it'll be great to play them at this particular tournament. And I'm really looking forward to it. And that's the team we start our weekend against when we do go down to Dawn of the Derby. So it's very exciting, excuse me. But we should get to our weeks a little bit
Oh yeah.
and
Sorry, I
not
just
just
gabbed.
talk all about WWE,
Yeah. Wait, what
despite
show am I? What show
the
am
fact that it is,
what show am I
WrestleMania
listening to?
weekend.
This is not Derby. They're talking
This
wrestling.
this is not the pain clinic, or this is the pain clinic.
No, yeah. I hope I can have that Saturday. We can worry about that later. But yeah, okay. So let me jump into my week. Why not? I've been off this week, and like I said, probably earlier in the show, it's like I'm not really sure what day it was. So it's just they all kind of bleed into each other. But I did get some cool stuff done around my house. I may have a new recording suite soon.
Ooh,
Yeah, I moved some furniture and did some things,
nice.
and reclaimed one of my children who's grown up and moved out, and reclaiming their territory. It's kind of sad, but I do have some dressers to sale. So find me on Facebook Marketplace if you're looking for something.
Are they good dressers? Are they any good? Like,
Yeah, oh, they're in great shape. My daughter, I mean, she didn't really use them that much. I mean, and so they're in my living room now. But besides that fact,
well, why don't you send me a picture?
okay, yeah, just I think I will send it to you. So, but beyond that, I also visited my daughter in Buffalo this week,
Yeah.
and today, yeah, I drove out there. We went to dinner. It's nice. I haven't seen them in a while, and it's like they come home less and less because it's like I don't know, they're getting older, doing their own thing. So kudos to them, But but I got out there yesterday. Today was an interesting day. Um, I Today on my schedule, Rock City has a sound system,
Right.
and I hadn't used it like in the last couple of years. We've used a friend of mine's who has a PA system, just because I didn't know what kind of shape that sound system was in. So today I went there during their practice tonight, and I set it all up and put it together, and it works. So I'm very excited about that
Sure.
because someone else, but it's on wheels and it's kind of it's very powerful. But I don't know if I'm going to need much more for something like the Menat Hall, because the Menat Hall, I kind of judging based on the juniors games that I did there back in January and the Fear game about how
Right.
much power I'm really going to need, because the roof is a lot lower than we're in the dome or other places, even over at Genesee Valley. Um, so,
Sure.
I think but hopefully it'll work out. But it did. I got it working and I got the mic to work. I just didn't have any plugs to play any music, but I can figure that out before their first home game. But and then I stopped by on the way home from that. They had a happy hour at Three Head Brewery, and I stopped in and said hi to everybody and then came home.
Nice.
Yeah, it was very tempting because I love the kind, it was one of their best
Sure.
drinks they have there.
Yeah. It's a good one.
And I didn't get anything. I just grabbed a lollipop and came home. So,
Oh,
so that was my week. I mean, this weekend's WrestleMania. I'm very excited about it. It is going to, I mean, it's a lot of hype, and I'm excited that it is finally here. It's the latest in a long time. Latest, like, and usually it's like in the first weekend of February or of April.
yeah, it's really weird, right?
It's very late, so I'm kind of surprised at that. But and it's 2 days, so yeah, I'll be watching. And I mean, I've got, definitely it's a good time to get together and eat some good food and then watch professional wrestling at its best. How about you?
Yeah, man, I didn't have too much going on. A lot of work, I will say. Saturday, after we were live Friday, Saturday, I had a security class every year for my security license. I have to do an annual training class where it's like an 8 hour annual course. It's really kind of frustrating, especially because I've done it so many times now. After that, I got to relax for a few hours, but I did have to work a concert here at the Montage locally. Um, Sunday, we did some adulting during the day. I think some grocery shopping or meal prep. I forget exactly, but I did get back to practice, which was nice. I'm not going to make it to a practice this week, but it felt good to get back to it. I made it through the majority of the practice, 2 hours out of three. So I felt pretty good about that. I'll take it. Um, yeah, great to just be back at the Hob and see our friends and stuff like that. Double N made it out. It's good to have the baby around, the team and kind of around whistles and stuff like that. He actually fell asleep with his little headset on. It's the best. He's so cute. Um, Monday, I ended up working my regular job as well as a show at night. It has been a reasonable week. We've had some decent weather. We've had some not so great weather too. It was about 50, 60 and sunny, something like that today. But yesterday we got a little bit of snow and that was not great. There was, a couple of flurries up here in the city. Um, so it's been a weird week as far as that goes, but we did go to a froyo place out in Henrietta today, and we got to meet the Easter Bunny. So we got fun pictures with me, Double N, and Anderson meeting the Easter Bunny. So it's super cute. He had his little bunny outfit on with little hat with bunny ears even, and yeah, it was really really cute. It was great. The I think it's Yo Lickety out in like Highland, not Highland, or yeah, it is off Highland.
Yeah, yeah, I've been there before. It's across from where Marketplace Mall is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they had like a free Easter bunny there for a couple hours today, so we got to go meet the Easter bunny, which was really cool. So, yeah, shout out to them for having a nice service today. It was great. I thought it was going to be packed because it's like spring break for a lot of schools and stuff like that, but It was not, we managed to pretty much just walk right in. There was only like two other people in the time that we were there. But we did get some froyo as well. But I did have to get back to finish up my work day. But a lot of fun. Other than that, it is just busy, busy, doing a lot of work, getting ready for the summer and the season. As far as like my concert season goes at Darien Lake and Live Nation. Um, I have orientation for that coming up here soon. Just doing what we can with this baby. We're gonna go to um, next week. We're headed to Pittsburgh for a night to go hang out with the Rads. I'm gonna go catch a show with Rad, and then Double N and Mrs. Rad will hang out with Anderson. Um, so yeah, a lot of good stuff coming up. We've got Dawn of the Derby coming up in about a month from, well, yeah, actually a month from today. Dawn of the Derby in Pittsburgh as well. So we're looking forward to that. And just good stuff. Loving on this baby. Really, really, really good stuff. So I don't know. I don't have too much else. I will say I recognize that WFTDA just put out a statement regarding like the situation with LGBTQ plus and trans rights in what the UK and Europe and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um, but I will say they've been, and maybe I've missed it, but I don't think they've been really loud enough about any of the like trans rights stuff that's going on anywhere right now. Obviously they posted about this, situation in the UK and stuff like that in Europe, which is great. And obviously, they stand by trans or non-binary or gender expansive individuals. But we also had. And maybe I missed it. You could correct me if I'm wrong, but did they post
No, no,
anything really about
no.
what's going on in the United States with, now it's legally mandated or whatever it is that there's only two genders and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
The whole destruction of the DEI and stuff like that. Yeah, yeah.
I feel like and I won't even leave it to just WFTDA. I'm not sure MRDA has really made much of a statement regarding what's going on either. And it's tough right now, especially as these other leagues and other countries have to worry about traveling and getting in and out of the country safely,
Yeah.
and what type of protections that there are going to be or the lack of protections and so on. So I would really like to see these organizations kind of make a little bit more of a stance. You know what I mean? I don't necessarily think they need to rock the boat and, um, I don't know, storm the
Yeah.
Capitol or anything like that. But
No,
I think
no,
they could
no. I
probably,
get you. I've been trying to figure out
say,
why they haven't said anything yet,
yeah,
So I'm
been a
thinking
little bit quiet.
what I'm guessing is probably people are going to challenge these things by lawsuits, and I think
Yeah,
that, and so I mean, there's a lot of verbatim going around, but I think that that there'll be groups, the ACLU should be challenging these things. So it's like, so I think they're kind of maybe they're quiet just because there's a big mouth up there saying everything, and then not everything, and he backtracks every time.
yeah. I don't know. It's all a mess right now, and it's just really, I don't know. I think people need to do a better job of speaking up, especially given the fact that without the queer community, without trans folks, without um, minorities, even these roller derby leagues, these roller derby um, organizations wouldn't really exist. So, I just want people to speak up a little bit more. I feel like I'm the crazy one because I post a lot of political stuff when I'm not even a little, I'm not a very political person. So, um, yeah, I don't know. I would like to see some of our people, especially who have certain levels of privilege. I'd like to see people speak up more, but I don't know. That's just me. I think we're getting into a big topic, and I could go on about this forever. Which I don't know how my week went from this to.
Well, it was
Oh,
the
here
last
we
thing
are.
it was the
I
last thing before we
digress.
break. It's like we squeeze that in, right?
Yeah, go ahead and just squeeze that in real quick. Yeah, I'm really excited to talk to Bruiser Lee from Austin Anarchy. We're going to hit a break here in a second, but this is somebody who I know always has fun playing roller derby, is great to be around, and it's somebody that I've wanted to get on the show for a while now. So Let's hit a break, get back to the show after that, and we're going to have Bruiser Lee from Austin Anarchy on. You're listening to Derby Rocks on 106.3 WRFC. Welcome back to Derby Rocks. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. It's another week and another opportunity to talk to a great athlete and a great person. I'm very excited to have Bruiser Lee from Austin Anarchy on the show. Thank you for joining us. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing well, a little busy, but in a good way.
Yes, yes. You're playing some like role playing games, tabletop games. What do you got going on over there?
Yeah, it's a D&D night, so there's about nine other people playing Imaginations.
I love that. That's awesome. Is Imaginations like a particular like offset or like a new book to work through?
No, it's just we like make fun of ourselves when we play D&D. It's like, oh, it's time to play Imagination game.
Oh, okay. I love it. That's awesome. Perfect. Well, let's hop right into it. Tell us how you got involved in roller derby.
Yeah, I got out of the Navy in 2012 and had no direction, didn't know what I was gonna do. But in 2008, I had previously helped a league start up in El Paso. It was formerly Sun City Roller Girls. Just a renegade league, just trying to do it for the fun of it.
Sure.
My mom and my aunt and a godmother were the founders of the league. So
I love that. That's awesome.
yeah. So when I got out, my mom wanted to do a men's team, and she literally looked at me, she's like, "Go buy gear. You're starting derby." I had no choice actually. But I'm glad, it gave me a direction, something to do when I was fresh out of the Navy, transitioning into civilian life.
Sure.
From there, started the league. We were good there for a couple years. Got murdered by the Rattlescapes, our very first game. Like, didn't know we could even skate backwards as a roll. Like, we had learned the knee starts, and you all had moved on, so we didn't even know what we were doing.
Great.
Um, then I moved kind of around, went to Alaska, and that's where I started kind of like learning how to coach and ref because there was no one for me to skate with. But
Sure.
there was a team on Kodiak Island. They were Rock Island Rollers, I believe.
Okay.
I don't think they're around anymore, but Alaska has a lot of roller derby.
Yeah,
They play like either live games or replays on like TV all the time.
that's great.
Um, but did that for a year, was a substitute teacher in Alaska. Um, Came back down to the lower 48 and what was I doing? Oh, went back to El Paso. Our team was kind of like barely together. So did that for a little bit in El Paso, and then my brother moved to Austin a year before me with Austin Anarchy. Um, my stepdad, and my brother, and so eventually I had to move out, and the three of us played for several years together. My brother went on to get his gold medal with Team USA, and he's kind of done. He just had a kid. I took a little break to finish school. I got married, just kind of living life for a little bit, and then COVID happened, extended my break.
Sure.
But post-COVID, kind of like rogue agent in Austin. I wasn't really with Anarchy at the time, with some drama there, but I was cool with every other league, so I just skated wherever I could.
Sure.
I'm really, really tight with TXRD, the bank track league here. As soon as I moved here, I was like, that's a relationship I wanted to make, and I love that league. They've always been very good to me. Um, but then post-COVID just started doing like pickup derby, like who wants to meet up in the
Yeah,
park on Fridays. Uh,
sure. I love
which
it.
and just keeping that going for the last like 3 years with Austin Anarchy again.
Yeah.
I was a captain when we first met,
Yes.
um, and now I'm the president of the league. So
Yay. Nice. Very cool. Awesome. As you were growing up, or even in the Navy, in high school, if you did any college, did you play any other sports or anything like that?
um, growing up like really little, tried football, not my thing, which is ironic because what do we do now?
Sure.
Um, but no, I found martial arts when I was 15,
Okay.
freshman in high school, along with doing ROTC in high school, all
Mhm.
4 years. I did martial arts all the time. Started really at 15, kind of came to classes early to like just hang out and get ready and watch the kids. Well, eventually my sensei walked over. He's like, "You're gonna start helping. No more sitting around." And literally at 15 till I left at 18 for the Navy, I was an instructor, like in any way I could.
Very cool.
I've had that kind of like coaching into my DNA since then, so which is why I coach the TXRD Hustlers here in Texas.
Mhm.
So, but no, martial arts the entire time.
Cool.
Where that's where Bruiser Lee comes from.
Yeah. Nice. Nice.
Hey,
I
does
figured it was like a play on Bruce Lee, right?
Yeah, exactly. My original number was before they took out all the special markers was 1 inch punch.
I love that. That's
oh,
great.
awesome, awesome. I was going to ask, does knowing the being a uh, knowing a discipline in martial arts help with roller derby? I mean, is there? I'm guessing balance probably you get a lot of balance out of it. But
Uh,
is there transferable skills?
yeah, I'm definitely told my reaction times are a little bit faster. I'm definitely watching like elbows and punches as they miss me on the track. I'm definitely very aware of like everything kind of happening around me. I think that comes from that, just like head on a swivel. You never know where you're gonna need to react. Other than that, just like my really rocking calves and my great stamina. But other than that, just that.
That's great. So it sounds like roller derby is a family affair for sure. But what kind of skating experience did you have? Were you like a rink rat growing up or anything like that? Have you just always been around skates?
Yeah, growing up in El Paso, there was it was called Roller King. It
Sure,
was a really cool big rink, like classic, was like around from the 80s, all that. Was there like growing up and on and off a lot. Fractured my wrist there, as one does.
sure.
But then took a break. I skated maybe like once on rollerblades when I was in the Navy.
Okay,
Um, I didn't know who they were at the time. I would have breakfast with the Rat City Roller Girls at a high-low in Bremerton. And I'd be like,
sure.
oh yeah, my mom does roller derby, and they're like in their full gear. I'm like, I had no idea who they were. Uh, but yeah, no, other than that, like I had to relearn every skill that I use now. And that's why I kind of teach it the way I'm like, I know how to do it my way, I can teach you how to do it my way, or we can figure it out your way.
Right.
But it was definitely like, yeah, oh, learning how to skate. Don't go find any videos of me out there year one. They're pretty bad.
Well, I think, we all, got to start somewhere, right?
True, true. And that's why I tell everyone there's a place for everyone, and you can start wherever you're at.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So you had mentioned, and I feel like a dummy, maybe this is a regular thing, but you had mentioned you were a Navy cryptologist, and I had to Google that because I was like, what the F is a cryptologist? Uh,
Yeah.
so can you tell me how you got into that and like in your own words, what it means to you?
Yeah, when I took my ASVAB way back when,
Mm,
I scored really high. And so my recruiter was like, hey, you want to be a nuke? And she was like, you don't want to be a nuke. Don't be a nuke. So I was like, okay, what are the options? And so they sell you the story that you're going to be a James Bond type, learning codes and hacking into systems. No, I mostly had to do like missile defense on a ship. Like you get radar signals, you have to memorize what that signal looks like in your head on the waveband with the frequencies, all of that. It's terrible. I can read numbers like a different language if I have to. Other than that, just like working with satellites, I had a top secret clearance, so I can't really go too far into any of
no,
that.
it's very understandable. Understandable. Let me also ask, you've made some moves from like Alaska to El Paso and had, quite the difference in climates there. Is that something that you like, dealing with different surroundings? Is it something that you didn't like? And why kind of all the extremes?
Yeah, so I'm born and raised in El Paso, joined the Navy, went East Coast, West Coast, so I went all of it. Learned through all of this that I really, really hate snow and I really, really hate the desert. So, yeah, no, we drove from El Paso as a family up through Canada into Alaska, had to take a 9 hour ferry to the island we were going to live on for a year just to do it, honestly.
It's pretty cool. And you mentioned you were a substitute teacher there?
Yeah, for all ages, I would try to avoid like I tested the waters with second graders. They tore me up. So I'd be like, no, 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 no. Anyone else, I can flex my authority. They'll know with me. But if you do the ABCs out of order of the numbers, the whole day's off with the little ones. But
Sure.
no, I loved, 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 loved being a substitute teacher in Alaska. I was the only like highly requested. I wouldn't have to like pick a certain job. I would just apply for like, hey, I'm gonna sub today, and I would get a phone call like, no, you're going to this one over here. Um,
Sure.
Kids love me. They were great. It's a small island town, so you see them everywhere.
Okay, very cool. Let me ask, you had mentioned like you didn't have the choice to play derby. It sort of sounds like, your mom, your dad, your brother, um, quite a few people in your family play roller derby. Um, but is it something that you actually had an interest in when you got involved with, or was it sort of something that you kind of had to learn to love on your own?
It's something that was interesting to me for sure, having like almost helped found the league at the beginning when it started, right before I left for the Navy, because my aunt is also a skater.
Mhm.
So when I came back, they were wanting me to be involved somehow, and I wasn't ready to commit to like reffing because the rules weren't exactly any other rule set. They still to this day play Renegade,
Sure.
under a different name, but Bank Track now.
Right.
Um, but I became the league secretary. And so I was already kind of involved. I heard all the drama. I was like, ooh, love tea all day long. Give it to me. And I had to document it. Ooh, even better, even better. Uh, but no, my mom was like, buy stuff, you're gonna start skating. And at first I was a little hesitant, like, I don't know if I want to be like rocking on skates like that, but it was so much fun immediately. My brother, we had to literally like drag him. He didn't want nothing to do with roller derby, and I had to like give him all my gear one day, and we didn't train him nothing. We're just like, you're gonna jam. You're jamming now. Go. And he immediately loved it too.
And I mean now that's funny. And now he's like gold medalist with Team USA for USARs, right?
No, for MRDA.
Oh, MRDA even. Nice. Wow. Awesome. Very cool. Love that. Um,
That's the heck of an origin story for him.
yeah.
Yeah.
You
We
know,
we make fun of him all the time, like, why are you retiring? He just had a baby, so he's like trying to figure it out. I'm like, okay, well, you're not done. You're just on pause trying to
You're
figure it
just taking a break. That's a thing happening these days. A lot of us are squirting these kids out. So yeah,
Yeah.
I am not taking a break, I will say. I'm still doing it. So love it. But let's talk about Austin Anarchy and how things are going. You guys have a busy year, a fair amount of tournaments. Clover Cup, we have Dawn of the Derby coming up. Very busy. You've got some new teams in Texas as well. New teams in the MRDA, so in the South even.
Mhm.
Great for business, great for everybody. But yeah, let's talk about Austin and how things are going and what you think the goals are for 2025.
Yeah, I can tell you for sure. I mean, I'm on the training committee. I'm not a captain or as a legal role, we're trying to find any way we can host a game here in Austin at least one time this year and just like build on that
Yeah,
because we have to travel everywhere we want to go. And it's weird that we're in the middle of the country. So like, why is no one coming here? Yeah, no, we just did Clover Cup. We went and finally found out what Yohala had to offer, and it was great. We
yeah,
knew we
sure.
knew it would be, and
Yeah,
they gave us a run for our money. But it was honestly a really clean game for us for the most part, because the next game was not. But we played really, really well with what we had, and like we knew going in they were gonna try to like take our heads off, like they always do. Um, that one was a really good game. I say we lost, but we played really well. The next game we won, we played terribly. And we know that we're just like, okay, every time we spiral somewhere, but we're still
sure.
up.
Self-awareness is key.
Yeah. Um, Clover was good. It was a good time to like revisit the Dallas guys because we know half of them. They've been around
Yeah,
as long as we have.
I've been around a while. Yeah,
Yeah, and so they got some fresh blood, and so it's fun to see them. Wombo's up there, who used to be Anarchy,
yeah,
so it's always fun to try to take his little head off. Uh, yeah, it was a good tournament. Great venue as always. Looking forward to Pittsburgh. We're between that. We're actually going to play a Hollis B team,
nice.
and actually next weekend, up in Waco. That would be fun. We don't have a B team, so we're just whoever can come with us.
Yeah, no, that's sort of where we're at here. We don't really have a B team, so we'll play anybody. We went to New Hampshire last year and played like Casco's B team, and then we played a team that's trying to get their game so they can be MRDA, and like we don't care, we'll play.
Yeah, that's kind of our vibe. Like we just need playtime as much as we
Yeah,
can.
I remember last year at the roller derby tournament, you guys had a tough time getting up to Cleveland. I remember didn't a couple people drive, I think. I remember they were having problems with their flights.
Yeah, it was the flights, and luckily, for the most part, our team was able to be there. It was the Atlanta team.
Atlanta, they had seven, I think, or
They had
Yeah,
eight.
it
And
was
so
it was
that was the first game we knew ahead of time. Oh, no, no, first or second game. Whatever. We knew that game was like, ugh, okay, we're gonna mop. It's fine. But we had to make it fun for them. And that's kind of Anarchy's vibe is like up or down. We want to have a good time.
yeah,
Sometimes they get crazy on the track and on the bench, and it's me telling them to calm down and just have a good time. We'll play some music if we can. But for
sure,
that game, we're like, there's no music. Let's just be humble, like really have fun with them. We took timeouts for them,
yep.
right.
and like told them like whenever you need a break, let us know. And like
Yeah,
it
yeah, we'll
was
figure it out, right?
because
Yeah,
you're in that situation, and if they forfeit before the third quarter, it's 100-0, and so we're like, we can get that a lot higher than that. So it was kind of like, let's be nice, but we have a job to do.
Yeah, I was thinking, I thought maybe you had travel difficulties only because I think you guys all got there like an hour before your game or something. I think maybe it's just the flight schedule or something. Yeah.
No, that sounds like a freight train thing. So that's probably what happened.
I gotcha.
that could be a freight train thing. Yeah. No, we had a great game. You know, I'm excited to get back after it. You know, it'll be fun for me having coached you guys in the past at Dawn of the Derby. So I know it's going to be just a lot of fun, and I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, that was the first time I met you. I'm like, who's this dude? Does he not know what's about to happen?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was great. Yeah, and you guys are always fun to play against. So we are definitely looking forward to it. It's going to be a good tournament
So
as a whole. So,
make sure your whole team has their jorts ready because you know
oh
how we
sure. Yeah, yeah. We kind of jorted up pretty well the last time, so we'll see. The tough part will be because it's 9 in the morning, getting everybody to like be excited about jorts. So that's just going to be a tough game for everybody.
I'll bring my music and we'll see what we can do. My Red Bull.
Bring the caffeine and all that good stuff too. Um, I want to talk about the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence.
Oh yes, the other thing, up all of my rest of my time.
Yeah, so tell me all about it. What is it?
Yeah,
What I
honestly,
see like the pictures of you, and I mean this with love, but like in like robes or dresses and makeup, and tell me all about it. I
yeah.
love it.
So, and I encourage every Derby League, if you have one in your city, Order of the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. That's their overall banner. They were started in San Francisco back in the 70s. Um, and every city kind of like has their own chapter. Not every city, most cities have their own chapter. Here in Austin, we're called the Weird City Sisters. We are 21st century radical drag nuns, and we minister to our queer community. A lot of the queer community is shunned by religion, so we decided to opt that and turn it into something loving for our people.
Yeah.
At its core, they're a fundraising organization for other charitable organizations. And so I highly encourage if you need some fundraising, go find your chapter and link up somehow because that's what they do. Um, it's a
That's
really
all.
good time. We go out to local bars. That's where we minister. And just kind of provide what our whole goal is to be like the attraction to like draw everyone else's attention. So in the background, you can be your happy gay old little self. Uh, the goal in the or your vows are you take vows. It took me a year to get a fully professed sister status, which is what I am, a fully professed sister. Um, it took me a year of doing work, sitting there, listening, going
Yeah.
out and talking to people. But your main goal and your main vows are to promulgate universal joy and expatiate the guilt. So just spread some love and don't worry about the guilt. You bless people and
Sure.
say,
There you
you're
go.
absolved of all your sins, go and sin some more.
Yeah. No, I love that. That's beautiful. Um, Let me ask. So you're the president. You mentioned you're the president of that league. You also, I think you'd mentioned you're on like the or league. I called it a league. That group.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm the vice president for our local chapter here, which is
okay,
known as the
vice
Mistress of
president.
Novices.
There you go. And then you're involved in Austin Anarchy. I think you mentioned the training committee. You do Friday night lights in your city. what is it that kind of makes you want to donate more of your time? We always pay to play in these activities. Why donate more of your time?
Yeah, I kind of bring it all to Friday Night Lights. It's for the community. It's whoever shows up. It's a mix of juniors and adults. It's no points are counted. It's five jams at a time. We take a break. We laugh. If we have refs, I show up. I let them talk trash to the players. Like it's about having that good energy, like be your own hero vibe that we used to have. And so I feel like I'm kind of like holding on to that and trying to like shake people like, remember, we used to have fun. It used to be a good time. And not kind of break that seriousness. Like that was a good challenge against Yalhalla. The Dallas folks are usually really focused and engaged. So it's fun to like mingle with them and just kind of like goof around. And you know me, I'm always like throwing a stupid dad or
Yeah.
just like spinning around. I will literally laugh or lay on the track. I do not care.
You have some great derby pictures out there.
Yeah, thanks. But no, I think it's a good environment that's really welcoming to pretty much everybody.
Yeah.
And so there's no reason for me to walk away from that. And if it's still here and I have juniors and kids that I can see that are coming up, I need to be here for them to come up.
Awesome. Um, so you've been around a little while. You've seen, a variety of teams, whether it's, pre-COVID, pre-Navy, teams that maybe your mom, your aunt, sister, I forget everybody that you had mentioned.
We
Uh,
call it a Derby Mafia family.
Awesome. I love it. Yeah. So you've seen all these players and teams. You were, in the heart of Texas. And you've been with or around TXRG and some of the originators and stuff like that. What are some of your favorite teams and players from over the years?
Ooh, I've met so many, and a lot of their names are very inappropriate at this point. I mean, I guess here in
You can say
Austin,
that they're fictional names. It's okay to
that's
say.
true.
Yeah.
That's true. My mom's original Derby name and her whole team's attitude was like El Paso old school Chola vibes. They would fight at every game. People were known like they're going to be the team that fights. So like my mom's Derby was Ike Kula, which is what a B word.
Sure.
She was total. Um,
Love that.
that was my first coach, so you can't say that. And then we had like Chichin Gona was this lady with like way out here boobs, and she would just toss you around the track and was like, okay, Chichi, just chill out. Just like those old school La Peleonera, like the fighter, and she was the one to like grab you by your helmet and take you down. Um, so like I still like live in that era in my head of Derby. Like that's when it was crazy, it was wild. Refs were not safe. You could catch one. Um, just crazy Derby times, those times. So that's what kind of I lived there. You asked me about like maybe current people coming up. I'm like freight train. like I
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not too connected with all of the Derby people, so I kind of like just live where I know. You know what I mean?
No, that's fair. How does it feel getting to play with somebody like Freight Train who's just not only like fun but amazing and like mostly humble about it too.
Oh,
Got to be great, right?
she's fully humble. When I first moved to Austin in 2015, she asked me to play with her in a sevens tournament. That was my first time interacting with her, and so we would got second place and lost to Dallas, which was obvious. But I learned like she's so humble. She's very quiet. Like if you can get a conversation with her, it's a blessed one. Because even on team days, we're just like, "You got something to say, Freight?" It's like, "No, y'all doing great." But it's
Yeah,
funny because you look at her videos online and like it's a totally different personality.
it's funny, right?
But I love
She's
her.
so quiet in person.
Yeah, normally practices are her and I jamming for 2 hours if Shark's not there. And just giving each other advice, bouncing off ideas. She's a very, very cool, chill person. It's lovely having her around.
Very cool, very cool. What kind of habits or superstitions have you developed over the years? Whether it's game day, if it's mid bout, what kind of things do you typically do?
I definitely have to blast music as loud as possible around me. I
Sure.
think you've experienced that. And I have to have my Rebel. And I think other than that, I'm good. People say I play better when I'm hungover. I think I'm just slower and safer.
Just
So.
More calculated, right?
Yeah, so when I'm out, at the after party and have a game in the morning, just I'll be fine.
Yeah, fair, fair. Do you have an exit strategy? Like, what's your plan moving forward? Are you just gonna, ride it till the proverbial wheels fall off, or do you, want to make it, an extra 5 years, or what's the game plan moving forward?
I think no matter what, I'll always have Friday Night Lights, so I'll be here to facilitate that once a month for the rest of my life, probably. But
I,
with Anarchy, I jump off and on the charter. I can only care so much about being competitive after you play the same teams over and over again. So I have been known to take breaks, but I still am part of the community, whether I'm running my own program or refing, coaching. I don't see an end for me. It's literally my family brought me into this, and so my brother just had a child. So guess how
yeah,
I'll be
we
waiting.
got to start a new juniors league soon, right?
Yeah, so I have another 18 years to wait for at least.
Sure, fair. All right. Tell us about your Dungeons and Dragons character.
Oh, I just made him. This is my like fourth time trying to play with him. I kind of like make an idea and I try to like experience it and get to know them as I'm playing.
Sure,
His name, he doesn't really have a name. He's a title. He's really titles because names are boring.
sure.
Is Galileo the interlude, and Galileo is like Greek for laughter. So he's like the laughter in between the awkwardness,
Okay,
which can be me sometimes.
I
Uh,
like that.
but he's currently babysitting, so he's not doing too much.
Okay. Is D&D like the only like tabletop game that you play, or are you just a general tabletop gaming fan?
Uh, Not the only one, it's just the one we have right now. Because we have family nights still, and we'll get down on Catan, some Uno,
Sure.
honestly, our we have a closet just full of games. So like, roll a dice, see what we're playing tonight.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. Well, I really appreciate you coming on. I'm looking forward to um, figuratively and literally running into you in May here coming
Yeah.
up.
In
But
jorts.
yeah, in jorts
You'll
even.
be
That'll be
seeing
fun.
this from some point.
Yes, definitely. We'll dab on each other. It'll be great. Before I let you go, I want to know what you think the future of roller derby looks like.
Oof, it looks like these juniors coming in and really kind of speeding it up, or I don't know. I got hit so hard last night from these young bloods. I'm telling you
Good
what.
problem to have, right?
Yeah, one of them was my brother, so get ready for him.
Nice, perfect. Awesome, buddy. Well, it's always a pleasure. I'm super excited to see you again. It's going to be a blast. So you take care of yourself and we'll run into each other soon.
Yeah, very soon. Giving you all lots of love.
Yes, absolutely. Right back at you. Thanks, buddy. We'll
Thanks
talk
for
soon.
coming on. Welcome back to Derby Rocks. Yes, we are back for one more segment. We have sports scores. We have
Sports
scores,
scores.
sports
Sports
scores. We
scores.
non-ball sports scores, and we just had a great interview, man. That was awesome, man. Bruiser Lee, love the origin story, man. And now we gotta get Bruiser's brother.
I guess, yeah. I should have asked, and I feel embarrassed that I don't really know who specifically his brother is, but I
Yeah.
should have asked.
We've got, well, yeah, there's a part two of the interview, but we're gonna do some scores here now from last week. A
Yeah,
lot of
go ahead and hit some WFTDA scores.
a lot of games going on. So let me start from the top. I have a quite a big list that I've been like tallying, and since I have to read it digitally, you guys can't see, but I'm actually can't even see the camera right now. But we had from last weekend, we had some the closest bouts. We will have looks like the Eves of Destruction beat Bellingham 145 to 139, 6 point difference. Eek. We had the K-Town Shakedown going on last weekend, and Grand Raggedy beat Steel City by 8 points. That's 102 to 94. Druid City beating Muskogee 143 to 133. It's a 10 point game. That's still enough too close. We had Harrisburg, that's hard, I believe, versus the Black Rose Rollers. And they won 98 to 81. So, man, that must have been like a heavy defense game. But that was a 17 point difference there. And those are we had a couple of biggest upsets. We had New Hampshire beating the Bay State Brawlers 224 to 169. We had Quad City Rollers beating Lehigh Valley 211 to 65. And Maine beating Twin State. Remember, I talked about Twin State last week because they're coming to Rochester to play Rock City. I figured maybe to give them a good chance to watch it. And they played Maine and they lost to them 168 for Maine, 126 for Twin Cities. And that was part of the tournament there, out in where was it?
Bob H.
Yeah,
or
Bob A.
Kalamazoo?
Yeah, it's like I'm never sure what state it is. I think it's at Vermont that it's in, or
No, in Bob H. I think they were in New Hampshire.
that's it, New Hampshire. So yeah, and you got some scores from that too as well.
Yeah, definitely. So for MRDA Friday, we had Casco, who had a huge weekend beating Toronto men's 309 to 187. Outside of the tournament, we had some scores as well. We had the Hooligans, Philadelphia, the Penn Jersey Roller Derby's B team, 158 over Terminus, 142. We also had Cleveland beating the Hooligan or the geez, I am losing my mind. We had Cleveland beating the Shenanigans Phillies B team 273 to 89. Then we had Casco Bay over Pittsburgh, back at Bob H. That was a huge game.
Yeah.
161 to 157. What a fantastic game. We had Chicago over Toronto 315 to 73. Rounding out the weekend in Cleveland, we had Cleveland over Terminus 305 to 140. Then we had Pittsburgh over Toronto, 318 to 94. Chicago over Casco, 149 to 109. Then we had the secondary charters for Pittsburgh and Casco and Pittsburgh. It was a lot to a little. So
there was there was some.
let me say real quick. I'm sorry to cut you off. It was a weird weekend. So we had Pittsburgh beat Chicago, but then it looks like Chicago beat Casco, even though Pittsburgh lost to Casco. So that's going to be a tough one for the algorithm to figure out.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is it they all kind of traded wins, it seems like at one point, and it's like maybe I don't know, maybe it was just a tough tournament to keep the high level up there. But yeah, I saw that it was definitely very interesting with the Bruce Brothers beating Toronto, and then both Casco Bay beating Toronto too as well. But and then Pittsburgh losing to Casco Bay. It sounds like a lot of great games. I definitely was following along on the weekend. It definitely was worth watching.
Check out Casco Bay's YouTube. You can go rewatch those games.
Yeah, and so let me get the closest games for this weekend for WFTDA. We've got Windy City's playing Arizona. I believe the Dust Bowl is this weekend in Arizona, so there's a lot of derby out in the Arizona, out in the desert. We got Minnesota at Boston, and there's a tournament down in Sydney that's going on this weekend too. That they have a few
all the events.
Yeah, there's and for men's, we've got Quad City at Tyne and Fear. Quad guards, and they're also playing in humans. So it looks like there's a three-way going on with that as well. So lots of derby going on this weekend. Like I said, there's I kind of copied down some stuff that was going on as well. Athens, Ohio roller derby is kicking off their season this weekend.
Nice.
And actually, I'm sorry, that's April 26th. Oh, they got me. I was like trying to get them. That's a week from Saturday. This weekend, the Fayetteville Roller Derby is having they're having a doubleheader, and that's at Fayetteville, North Carolina. They've got their home teams. It's a doubleheader: Rouge All Stars versus Relentless Roller Derby. It looks like a lot of fun. The Brawl Stars versus the Wand One Ticket. The Wand, and one ticket covers all. Of course, it covers all. You got two games in the same day, and then Maine's playing this weekend again. We saw Maine on the scoreboard from last weekend. They're playing at Happy Wheels Skate Center there this weekend, so you definitely don't want to miss out on that. It's a Saturday at 5:30, and it's $12 to get in. So I don't have anything much more on there. There's a few teams that are playing, but I think I got most of the dates correct.
I was going to say, we went through a fair amount of the important stuff. Make sure you're following us on Facebook.com/Derby Rocz, as well as some of the other social media channels.
Yeah.
Search Derby Rocz on all the places you can find us. We try not to butcher the news too bad, but we try and get your info out there. So Make sure you send us stuff too if you have events going on. We want to talk about it. If you want to come on the show, feel free to reach out as well. We'd love to have you because we are sick and tired of talking.
Yeah, yeah, I'm done.
All right. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get out of here.
Yeah.
We love and appreciate you guys. It is always a pleasure. Thank you to Bruiser Lee for hanging out with us. I'm excited to see him soon.
Yeah, have a great WrestleMania weekend, everybody.
Yeah, enjoy WrestleMania. Try not to eat too many snacks. I know I am going to just stuff my face and relax all weekend. It's going to be a good one. So you have a great weekend, Cash. We
Yep.
love you. Thank you for hanging out with us. We'll see you next week.